world. Hi, Nitya. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, Frank. I'm doing good. Wow, that was a good entry. Hello. I love it.
Oh. Well, I thought, I'm always very energetic, but I was trying to keep it because we have a big show today. Big show, a lot of news. But before we share the agenda of everything, I just want to share a few notes, right? So I
Yeah.
think I will let you start. So what news do you
Yeah.
have for us?
You know what I'm really excited about? Tomorrow, right here on Learn TV, the .NET team is doing a Learn .NET challenge. They're going to walk you through a workshop, and I think it's starting off with microservices. But what I like about it is it's going to be a regular series. You can join this, go to any Reactor page, and you can join a watch party if you want to, or you can just watch on Learn TV and work alongside them. I really love this way of like going through the content, and it's going to have a cloud skills challenge associated with it. So don't forget to check that out.
Oh, awesome. Today, as I was reading my news feed, I saw a very good news and I was very excited about it. And maybe it looks for a bunch of different people like not as big of a deal, but it was a new feature from a tool called AzCopy. So AzCopy is a free
Okay.
tool. It's available on all platforms, so Mac, Linux, Windows, and it's already you could move file from on-prem to Azure, and then even like Amazon to Azure, Azure to Azure, different account and stuff like that. But now in preview, you can now bring data from Google Cloud. So one tool to rule them all. I put like how to get started in the notes. So if someone want to start, and also did a video recently about that. So I put all that in the notes.
Oh, that's
Another thing,
cool.
yeah, that's pretty cool. Did you know that too?
No, but I remember you telling me about it, so I'm going to go check that out. I actually think the fact that you can do it across environments is awesome.
Yeah, it's already installed if you go in Cloud Shell, so you don't even need to install it. It's already there. Very, very, very powerful tool. Another news, a lot of people, at least when I was talking to a lot of clients are always worried, to go over their budget or like to not use at their maximum capacity their resources and stuff like that. So the best way to visualize information is to use dashboard. And they release this week enhanced version of the editor for the dashboard inside the Azure portal. So now you could have nice dashboards that you could share and customize. It's very, very efficient. So a very easy way to share information for any resources in Azure.
Wow. People should definitely check out those show notes for that. But I kind of think we're already going to have a packed agenda today. So here's one more thing people can learn. And maybe, coincidentally, maybe that's something that, we can get Isaac to do a tips and tricks thing. Who knows? We'll put stuff on his plate. But was there anything else, or shall I talk about what's on the show today?
Yeah, let's share what's on the show today.
Awesome. So before I jump in, I also want to give a shout out because we're super happy because Earth Day is going to be on a Thursday this year. So it's in April. So if you're doing anything for Earth Day, do give us a shout out. We'd love to learn about what you're doing for sustainability. But today's show is packed. Thursdays are the best day on Hello World. So we're going to kickstart this with a really good segment with Isaac Levin. I'm going to call it Tips Thursday as well now. Followed by Humans of Microsoft. We have a really special guest, someone who's creative that I love. Then we're going to talk certifications because it is, of course, Thomas Thursdays. And then we're going to wrap that up with, I'm so excited about this, a new segment that we're debuting today. Frank is awesome because he's going to let me do something fun. We're going to call it ABSee. So wait to check that out. And I think without further ado, we should start the show. So Frank, take it away. What are we doing first?
So, and now let's go live at Azure HQ with Isaac and a new tips and trick. Isaac, can you hear me?
Bonjour, Frank. Bonjour.
Hey.
How are you
Bonjour.
doing, my friend? That's right. Isaac Levin here right in front of Azure HQ. And boy, do I have some good tips today. This week, we're talking about 5 things you didn't know about Azure SQL Database.
And we should see a screen, right?
There
it is.
Yeah, so let's do our first 5 tips. So number 1 is the query editor. For simple data querying tasks, you can use the integrated query editor that you can find under the query editor menu. Authenticate to your Azure SQL Server and you're ready to go. You can create data views and execute stored procedures. You can also save queries for later use. Number 2, Power Apps integration. Power Apps enable you to create applications without coding. From Azure SQL Database, you can easily create Power Apps with the data in your database. Select Power Apps menu, get started, and select the table that you want to create an app for. This creates a new Power App that you can connect, that is connected to the table in your Azure SQL Database and enables you to edit the app in the Power Apps Designer. How cool is that? Performs over data at a fast. The third thing is automatic tuning. Azure SQL Database can automatically tune the performance of your database. In the automatic tuning feature, you can select if you let Azure SQL create and drop indexes automatically on query performance. You can also let it judge the execution plans of queries and use the best ones for them. 4, personally, my favorite, 4 is coming up right in a second. 4 is my favorite, and it's serverless tier for every SQL workload. You can run it on a high premium tier that provides incredible performance and storage capabilities, or on a lower basic tier, we need less storage and performance. So I know SQL Server is a big deal, but SQL Serverless is even cooler. Now you can also run Azure SQL Database on a serverless tier. Now you have the option to control the serverless scaling by setting a minimum and maximum performance, and you have the database pause when it isn't being used for a certain amount of time, which means you don't have to pay for it. You only pay for the storage. And finally, another really, really great one is Azure Cognitive Search integration. Azure Cognitive Search enables you to create search and autocomplete experiences for your data. In Azure SQL Database, you can easily make your database searchable by plugging Azure Cognitive Search in. You do that from the Add Azure Search menu. Here, you can select an existing Azure Cognitive Search instance or create one and configure its search index by providing it a table from your database. This couples Azure Cognitive Search with your database and enables you to search the index to search your database. Super simple. Again, adding AI on top of data. Super, super awesome. So, talked about 5 really cool things with Azure SQL Database. So Azure SQL Database has a lot of features, including query editor, Power Apps integration, automatic tuning, our serverless tier, and integration with Azure Cognitive Search. Go and check it out. Back to you, Frank.
Wow. Back in a previous life, I used to be a DBA and, pulling my hair to do half of what you share here. And now it's so easy or like accessible. This is very good news. And like those services have done a great work to make it more simple for us. That's pretty cool.
I mean, it's super awesome. Like, just, as somebody who has been forced to do database things in their career, like taking all of those complex things and putting on AI on top of them, putting integrations on top of them, it's super awesome. So remember that this tip, as well as all other tips, are available on aka.ms/hello world. That's our show notes. And there's the tips are going to be there, as well as links to all the other tips that we've done on the show, as well as on the Azure Tips and Tricks website.
This is I need to go there and start digging in those notes because it's so nice. Like the scaling, like it's so simple. You just pull a little thing on the side and it scale, or like having auto completion for your data.
Yeah, I think, and I mentioned a little bit earlier, like my favorite is the serverless stuff, right? So being able to only pay for the data or the storage that your data takes up instead of having to pay for its compute when you're not using it is super awesome. I can think of all sorts of really cool scenarios for that, right? And I think, as we close with Azure Tips and Tricks, one of the things that I want to call out is we have tons of tips, over 300 actually, that are out there. Check the show notes, aka MS Hello World, to see some more of them.
Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you, Frank. Take care.
And now we'll join Laurent, who's talking to Cheryl about her experience in public speaking.
Welcome back to Humans of Microsoft. This is a segment where we talk to people just like you and me, but they have one thing in common. They all work for Microsoft. And today with me on the show, there is Cheryl Adams. Hello, Cheryl. How are you doing?
I'm well, and you?
I'm very good. Thank you so much. Cheryl, you are a senior content developer. You work for Microsoft, and you are based in San Francisco or near San Francisco, right?
That's correct.
Absolutely. Awesome. So let's go into the questions. The first question I have for you is, what was a key moment, a pivotal moment, if you want, in your career?
My key moment was really learning about technology, but the biggest moment was sharing what I was learning. As I discovered new things, I felt a sense of urgency to share that with others. So getting on the path of speaking, training really helped me share what I was learning and playing it forward.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And you do some public speaking, right? This is something that you like a lot.
I do. I really enjoy it. The ability to connect with people, even though we're virtual now, is so inspiring. The feedback has been tremendous, and it just encourages me to do more and speak on the topics that I'm truly passionate about.
Yeah, this is great. If you could go back in time, like anytime you want, what would you tell yourself to help you getting started?
First and foremost is to really trust yourself. A lot of times we get bogged down with worries and concerns if we're not going to make it. And making those mistakes is perfectly okay because it's part of the learning process. We learn through those what we call experiences, whether they're good or bad. Another point that I recall is really documenting your path. There once was a time that I only documented when things were successful, but I found the most benefit was to document those areas that were hard for me because I can reflect on those and hopefully not make those mistakes again. And most importantly, I feel is celebrate the small wins. When you've resolved an issue or even helped a teammate, congratulate yourself because that was something that you accomplished that day.
This is really cool. And I feel that sometimes just telling my team that something went well is great because it's not bragging. It's really just like including them into the celebration, right?
Absolutely.
This is fantastic. Can you share one skill that you feel has contributed or still contributes to your career?
The biggest skill that I feel has contributed is really self-care. Taking care of yourself is pivotal in your career and also in your personal life as well. At your level of wellness, you can achieve so much more. But I don't kid you, self-care is not easy. It's often a struggle. We have many demands on our time and our lives, but it is one of the most valuable investments that we can make.
This is very important, especially in these days, right?
Mhm.
What have you learned about yourself while you're working in the field of technology?
The biggest thing that I've learned is that I belong here. And despite the challenges and the hurdles, in technology, there is a space for me. And so I need to remind myself and hold on to that belief, even in the most challenging of circumstances.
Well, this is great. And I, for one, am very happy that you found this space. What is one more thing that you want to tell our viewers to inspire and motivate them?
I think self-talk is so important because the stories that we tell ourselves are the things that we hold true. And so we really need to be careful of those conversations we have with ourselves. Be careful of those negative confirmations that we tell ourselves because those become our truths. One thing that's important is to maybe start off with something positive. Start your day with something positive so that you can reflect on that even throughout the challenges. Self-talk is the loudest story that you'll hear, so we should be careful of what we tell ourselves.
Wow, this is very interesting. Well, this was very fascinating. I'm so happy that we had the time to talk. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for taking part to Humans of Microsoft. And to all our viewers out there, please join us next time for another segment of Humans of Microsoft. Thank you so much, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Wow.
That was great. The way she said, like, when she discovered that sharing was giving her a lot of energy, or what, like, kind of resonate with me.
I've been fortunate. I've seen her in a couple of events, and I think the two things I took away, one is self-care. I can't tell you how important that is, especially at this time, to kind of be compassionate with yourself and with others. And okay, just personally, documentation. Yes, document everything, journal your life. As somebody who tries to sketch notes so I can remember things, that really resonated with me. But hey, I think it is Thursday, right? So that means only one thing. I'm super excited for this. So that's Thomas Thursday. So I guess we're doing the next segment, which is all about certifications. And I love having Thomas on because he's very systematic about it. And I think the first time I heard him, he was talking about here are the certifications. And second time, he was like role-based certifications. So I actually did my research, and Microsoft has a lot of certifications. So now I think he's going to solve the problem of where do we start with certifications, right, Thomas?
Absolutely. Hi, Nitya. Great to be here today. Thank you for having me. And I completely agree with you. First days are the best by far. So yeah, today you're absolutely right. We're going to talk about how to actually pick the right role-based certification. And it's actually funny because last week I got approached by someone who watched the show, the episode on Hello World, and came and said, hey, Thomas, okay, great. I want to become now certified on a specific topic, but there are so many certifications out there. Can you help me pick the right one, right? Mm-hmm. And so that is what we're going to have a look at today.
Oh, awesome. And I actually find this very fascinating because when I look at searching for certifications, we can search by, level, beginner, intermediate, advanced. We can search by role. We can search by topic. So where do I start? Where do I get
Yes,
started?
Absolutely. So I think the best way is really going to the Microsoft certification page, because we have everything now on this page, and it's like you can easily go there by microsoft.com/learn and then find certification, or you can obviously use your favorite search engine, Bing, to find it as well. And the first thing you can then see when you select certifications, you can see here like different roles which we put out there. You can see from developer, administration, administrators, architects, but also AI engineer and data scientists, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously you could then just pick that specific certification if this is something you're currently doing and you want to get certified in that. Or it also can be something you want to do in the future, right? A lot of people are choosing certifications for different topics. It can be that they want to get better at their job, working towards a promotion, or even switching careers, right? So always pick the ones where you think where you should go. However, you mentioned an interesting part. If we scroll down a little bit more, we have obviously a lot more to offer than just like these role-based certifications. Now, as you mentioned before, we can see here on the left side, we can see here the fundamental certifications. And again, we don't have them just for Azure. We also have them for Microsoft 365, the Power Platform, for Dynamics, and many, many more. So this is a really good starting point. I always recommend to everyone, let's start with one of these fundamentals and get certified there. We then also, in the middle column, you can see here, we offer the different role-based certifications, which we just talked about. Again, not just for Microsoft Azure, we also offer that for many of our other products as well. And then, interestingly, you can see here also something you just mentioned, we have the additional certifications. So some of them are not necessarily related in a job role. There could be like for any or for multiple job roles. So for example, we have one on SAP on Azure. So this is a specialty certification. And there you can actually then say, okay, hey, I'm like an Azure administrator or I'm an Azure developer, but I work a lot with SAP on Azure. So I also want to get certified into that. And so that is what we can do here.
Yeah, one thing that has always appealed to me is when I do go look at certifications, right? Anytime I complete a module, like the modules will automatically tell me which certification paths those are valid for. And one thing I've been realizing recently is that once you get certified in any one thing, there's probably a few more you could complete just by taking an additional couple of courses or paths because they stack so well upon each other.
Absolutely. You're absolutely so right. So like finding these different modules and then finding the related information, it helps you so much. So if we again have a look at the page here and quickly like look at one, for example, here, like at the Azure developer one, if we then click on this, we can find more about this certification in particular. And so you can see here, I find some information, who is that certification for? But if I scroll down, I can find two other very important things here. The first one is really, okay, which exams do I need to take, right, to actually earn that certifications? So this one, for example, you don't need to take the fundamental one, but you can, but then you just need to take one certification. And the other one is obviously the skills measured. So all the skills in there, which we measure, so you can find an outline here. And as you mentioned, we have helped you to even find the right learning paths here.
This is awesome. Thank you so much. And before we forget, you can find all of those resources in the show notes at aka.ms/helloworld. Thanks so much, Thomas. Oh my God, Frank.
Okay. Now, Nitya, now is the time.
Oh my God, I am so nervous. Let's see if this works out. So hello everyone, I'm super excited because today we are debuting a new segment on Hello World and we're calling it Hello World ABSee. So I'm not sure if you can see my slides on the screen yet, but if you can, I want to talk to you about this segment because what we want to do here is we want to look at the intersection of creativity and technology. And you might see that ABSee spelled SEE. That's for a reason. Did you know that 65% of us are visual learners? We kind of absorb information by looking at things. We look at the big picture, we connect the dots, we find patterns, right? And so part of this notion in the segment is we want to talk about the intersection between visual storytelling and technology learning. How do we do that? 3 different things. So 1, this is what we call Visualize IT. So don't forget to check out the show notes for links to these resources. There are a whole slew of free workshops that we've got out there. But really the focus is if you want to start your own visual storytelling journey, learn to sketch. There's a bunch of resources to get you started. But the next step, once you've learned to sketch, is something we call sketch the docs, right? It turns out as a visual learner that you can make complex technology simpler if you draw a picture. So here the goal is, how do we sketch to learn? If you go to the @sketchthedocs account on Twitter, you'll find a whole bunch of these. In future episodes of Hello World, come here on Thursdays and we will debut new visual guides to various technologies right here. And you can print them out in high-res later. But today we are debuting the 3rd segment and I'm so nervous. We call this show and tell. And the idea is, can we use visual vocabularies to get people to know vocabulary or understand terms or concepts? So let's play a game. We're going to show you a picture. You're going to see if you can guess what the term is. And if you guess right, hashtag Hello World Live, ABSee, let us know or tell us right here on the chat. So are we ready, Frank, for the first one?
Yeah, I am ready. Let's bring more guests because there's no way I'm playing alone today. Isaac, Thomas, are you ready?
I have no idea how to do that.
Sounds amazing and scary at the same time.
Yeah, I feel it. So, Nitya, should we go? First one?
Let's go. I don't even know which one's going to show up first, but so each one of these in the corner is going to tell you whether I'm sketching a concept or a product. And this box says whatever it is going to be a service or a product. So can you guess it?
A service. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so it's definitely Azure, right?
Yeah. So the little icon there, you're seeing a lot of 1s and 0s and little charts. So hopefully that gives you a hint. Okay. The last one looks like a wall.
Okay. So any guess? Isaac, Thomas?
I'm going to go with Azure binary search.
Okay, I'm going to hint. The last one looked like a wall of bricks.
Yeah.
Ooh, could it be?
Could it be? Azure
Data Bricks?
I think there was a fabric also.
Oh!
That's a fabric. That's a factory Databricks, Azure Factory.
We're right. It's Azure Databricks. That's the little, and in fact, if you pause it and if you see it later, you'll see that the blanks tell you it was Azure Databricks.
Awesome.
Wasn't that bad, right? Wasn't that bad?
Okay, we're getting in the zone now. Let's do another one.
Okay.
Have time.
I'm going to stretch now. We're good.
Okay.
We're good. I'm going to stretch.
We need to pause when the whole thing is on. So the second one is also a product or service. So the box tells you that we're opening it and it's going to be a product or service. This one should be easy. I think it should be easy.
So you mean Thomas should be able to guess it?
Well, let's start by saying you're seeing a monkey at a computer. Come on. Come on.
Oh.
And it's like building mobile apps.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
So say it. What is it?
That's Xamarin. That's Xamarin.
Yes. That was Xamarin. Yes, it was.
Congrats.
The only reason why I know that is because I have the monkey stuffed animal. The only reason why. The only reason why I know that.
You got it. I'm so happy we got one. So do we have time for one more?
Another one. The last one.
Okay.
And then we will recap.
This one is a term. So you're going to
Okay.
try to figure out what the terminology is.
No pressure, Thomas.
Yeah, no pressure, Thomas.
Oh. Ooh, I know. I
Okay,
hope I
shoot,
know.
shoot.
I hope everyone else knows.
So what is it? What
So
is
I
it?
guess
Words?
it's role-based certification.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, that would have been hard if not even I would have guessed it right.
We want to make sure people are paying attention, but yes, hey, you literally put the slide up in your segment today. So if you hadn't got it, it would have been really, really disappointing. But that was fun.
That was super fun. Let us know. I'm very curious. Let us know on Twitter, on the chat and comments. Let us know, how do you like it, that game? Should we continue to do it? I know I liked it. Did you like it?
I think could play that for a half an hour or more. Like let's just I will give my segment and just play with Meteor games.
I'm with Thomas. So like no tips and tricks. We're just gonna look at pictures and guess things next week. That's perfect.
Well, I'm really sad we didn't have time because there was one based on tips and tricks. You are going to be put on the spot and you escaped this time.
We'll keep it for next week then.
We'll keep it for next week then.
Terrifying.
So, yeah, we're literally going to troll your stuff. But go ahead, Frank.
Let's recap. So, Isaac, what's your call for action for today?
So first off, I want everybody to check out the show notes for the entire show. In the show notes, you're going to find a link to Azure Tips and Tricks, which has the tips that we just did for Azure SQL Database, but previous tips we've done on the show, as well as over 300 tips in general. So not just for developers, not just for IT pros, but for anybody who's a technologist out there. Take advantage of Azure Tips and Tricks.
Wonderful. Of course, don't forget you can get in touch with Cheryl Adams on Twitter. The contact will also be in the show notes.
Yep, and Thomas has already shared his resources. Thomas, any last shout outs on certification?
No, just come join us next week on Hello World again, where we speak more about how you can actually earn your certifications. And I hope we can call it from now on Sketchnote Thursday. That would be awesome.
That would be cool. And I'm going to hand it off to Frank, but before I do, just a quick shout out. Tune in at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Learn TV for a really good segment on Launch Space, where they're going to look at Surface Duo with Flutter development. And I think that was it, Frank, from me.
Awesome. Well, I really like our show. It was good. It was fun. Coming next is Azure Fun Bites. And if you need any data, and also I want your feedback. So we put a lot of information in today's show notes. We have a little form. You could fill that form. It's only 4 questions. Very easy and quick to do. Fill it. It's always very appreciated. We read all the comments and all the feedback we have to get better.
Yes, and all the notes from the show are at aka.ms/helloworld. All the links to everything you saw today. So don't forget to check that out.
Excellent. So now we just need to wave and come back tomorrow for more Hello World.
Thursday's the best.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.